currently publishing by the Numbers podcast. It is sometime in April. If I have my dates all right, it should be April 2nd. I love April. And I'm hoping that by April, it means that my tulips are much bigger than they are now, and that by then we have finally seen the sun. Because right now we're in the middle of March as we're recording this, and we have not seen the sun, and I'm very sad about it, even though I appreciate the water. You are on episode 25, and we're going to be talking about mysteries this month. And I am joined, as ever, by my amazing and lovely co-host, Miss Virginia Anderson.
Hello.
And CJ Anaya.
Hello, guys.
And we are just so happy to be recording today. I've had way too much chocolate. Let me just start the podcast with that. I have this whole bag of Cadbury's came out with a new egg, and now they're bright rainbow colored. And so of course I had to buy a bag. And then I opened it, and then there's a lot less chocolate in there than there was when I started.
Is that an empty bag?
No, it's not empty. This is all still candy.
All right.
I've just eaten the top part, and some of that had air in it, in my defense. But
I admire your restraint, because had it been me, that would be an empty bag. So.
I probably had 12 or 15 of it, and the serving size is 9 pieces, so I'm well into my second serving. Anyway, let's roll on. This month, and especially today, we're going to talk about mystery. And this is a genre that, in particular, our lovely Virginia loves. So I'm going to toss the first question to her to say, as a genre, what is mystery? What does it mean? What kind of stories happen in mystery? Go.
I actually don't know. Now that I have a doubt. Sorry,
every time you put V on the spot, she pretends she knows nothing, and I find that hilarious.
No.
It's like, I don't think I know.
It's because I'm now confused, because just before we had this, we started the recording, we had a little bit of a chat, and I'm actually confused because I think I'm mixing mystery with thriller and detective stuff. So I think it's actually good place to start. What is defined as mystery? I always thought that mystery is Hercule Poirot, or Miss Marple, or any of those like detective finding who killed who. But I'm not 100% sure now.
All right, CJ, you want to add to that?
No, I think you are right to say that. I think the reason why some people get confused is because mystery, thriller, and suspense tends to cross over. They can be a little separate, but most of the time when it comes to thriller, when it comes to suspense, you're dealing with elements of mystery, and you're dealing with, the unknown there. And you are trying to solve what is not known. And you're trying to uncover what is not known. You're trying to get answers. And we see that in the most usual form within mystery as murder mysteries. Sometimes when you hit thrillers, sometimes what you hit are psychological thrillers or domestic thrillers, but there's some element of what's actually happening. Is it happening all in the head, or is it actually happening around you? So there's a lot of action and adventure in that. I think when I think about mysteries as a genre, my 12-year-old self would have told all of you off and said that mystery is only Nancy Drew, because that is where I was in my head at the age of 12. If anyone had said, what's mystery? I would have said, it's Nancy Drew. And if you want to argue with me, I'll fight you, because that was what gave me the love of reading. As much as I love romance, and that's what I write, I only read mysteries from the time I was 12 until I was about 18. Because that was all I wanted to read. And so I went from Nancy Drew and eventually got into more hardcore things. But I loved all of those cozy mysteries, and then those really soft kind of just, hard-boiled mysteries, that when it really is all about the mystery and nothing else, when it came to the murder mysteries, or when it came to, the haunted bridge. So for Nancy Drew mysteries, it wasn't always about a murder. Sometimes people went missing. Sometimes there was just something unexplained. Like the very first book I read was The Haunted Bridge. And it was just really interesting, the mystery of a theft, or how something was missing. So I really enjoyed all of those books, and I enjoyed the process of finding out the answer right along with the main character, no matter what that mystery was. But we get into a lot of, what kinds of mysteries can you do? And that's probably where the confusion can come in, because you have those broader mystery, thriller, suspense scenarios and umbrella categories, and then you dive into a lot of different sub niches that can encompass a lot of different things. Jana, you want to comment on that?
Well, sure. And the other thing we get is mystery rears its head in a lot of other genres. You have urban fantasy stories that are often built around a mystery and sometimes even a detective. You have mysteries that show up in other things. Mystery at its heart, and I'm going to go to the internet for this because it's always fun to go to an internet for the definition. And this is one of my favorite definitions. And it says mystery is defined as something that is a secret, something where there is no clear explanation, something difficult to understand or explain, or something unexplainable or unsolved. An example of a mystery is the location of your Christmas presents. And that's a really nice, simple, yes, that is a mystery. Where are my Christmas presents and what is in them? And I find that mystery revolves around questions. So it will be somebody is killed. Who did it? Why did they do it? How did they do it? Where did the killing happen? All of those kinds of things. It's always about asking questions and then searching for those answers. And that often brings in a detective or something like that, who's going to be the person that's going to answer those questions that you have around a scenario, whether that scenario is somebody died, somebody is missing, something is missing. I mean, you talk about your earliest mysteries. My very first earliest mystery love was Scooby-Doo. I adored that puppy. And you know, the number of things that they did in that cute little cartoon where it was, they were never going to have murder mysteries. It's a kid's show. But it was always, how did this disappear? And why is this happening? And sometimes they had people who looked like they were mummified, or, you know, weird things have happened and yet you had to figure it out. And there were all these steps to figuring it out and finding evidence. And could you figure it out before Velma did her wrap up where she went through, here's all the evidence we found, and then they pulled the mask off and you knew who it was? That's a very classic style mystery, to say, given this scenario where there is unknown, how do we find out what actually happened? And so mystery is about that, what actually happened. And then we put this other dressing on it where, you know, suspense is about creating that feeling of not knowing and that bad things will happen if you don't solve the mystery fast enough. I never felt like bad things were going to happen to Scooby-Doo. You know, they were going to solve the mystery, and I would have got away with it without the gosh darn kids. That was going to happen. But in suspense, the suspense is, will they solve the mystery in time? Or is it going to catch up with them first? And thriller takes both of those and adds a big action adventure kind of thing to it. So it's not only, will we find the vial of flesh-eating bacteria that's going to be dropped into the city water supply? Can we do it in time? And oh, by the way, bad guys are chasing us and trying to kill us. So you get all those things going on that make it a lot more high octane than the simple mysteries of my youth or your youth with Nancy Drew and with the Scooby Gang. So that's where I draw on mystery. Does that help me?
Yeah, it does. And it just feels like as we grow older, we are moving from the realm of mystery to more the thriller because we are less innocent. So there's
it can be that way.
More of sick.
Now, and again, that depends on subgenres, which in 2 weeks,
True.
we will do a whole thing on tropes and subcategories where we do start breaking those down, because a cozy mystery still relies on that pulled back camera. It tends to be an amateur sleuth. It tends to be those kinds of things, which is still kind of a very innocent kind of mystery versus a thriller where you may get, you know, and everybody dies and the other things.
Yeah, I just think I because when you ask me what's a mystery, I think I just realized that I actually stopped reading pure mystery books, and I love this genre, but more towards the thriller part. And this it's when I was a teenager, yeah, this definitely, you know, Hercule, all the Agatha Christie books and all this is like my favorite genre, because it's self-contained, it's just pure escapism. You are actually trying to also discover what's happening, and you're playing the role of the detective at the same time as the story progresses. So I love that genre. And from a market research point of view, I think it's important to keep that in mind, that maybe for the pure mystery book, your target audience can be broader than just, the adult. You can maybe do, I know that I have a chapter books that's for middle grade. That's a detective, amateur sleuth kind of detective story, and that's in the mystery category. So this is definitely something that we need to consider when we're doing the market research. It always go back to the market research. So
okay, fantastic. So we've talked about this a little bit, that mystery, thriller, and suspense aren't the same, but when we're talking about research, we find very often that they are grouped together in reports. So when people say, what are your top selling, the top selling genres or categories on Amazon, it's going to be romance and then mystery, thriller, suspense. So all those things kind of get looped together. And it's almost always either the second or third best-selling genre year over year, because people really do love this delving into the unknown and kind of poking at all those questions, which leads me to my next question, which is one of my favorite ones. And we'll go to CJ, I think, first. You told us about Nancy Drew, but what are some of your other favorite mystery series, mystery movies? What kind of mysteries just really work for you that would be fun to share with our audience?
When it comes to the TV series type of mystery, I really enjoy that, because when you can get those types of episodic mysteries going, you get to engage on a level where your favorite detective is played out again and again and again. You get to follow that character and that cast of kooky characters. So my favorite mystery TV series is Psyche. I cannot get enough of Gus and Sean. And they're just the funniest. And I really enjoyed that funny type of TV series with the mystery and the funny pulled into it. And if you have never seen this, I think it ran for 8 seasons. It has a cult following, and they really played a lot with it. They did a lot of different types of mysteries. So they once had like a mystery horror episode, and they had a mystery noir episode, and they will have theme music and different lighting for things like that. I mean, it's just stellar. And then all of the inside jokes that are created, the variety of solving all of these crimes, the way in which they do it, I really enjoyed that. And then I find that I do lean towards the more humorous aspects of these mysteries. I do like a good crazy one every now and then, but I tend to be a little more lighthearted. So I really enjoyed Knives Out. Did you guys see that movie, Knives Out?
Yeah.
No, but I've heard great things about it.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I love any kind of mystery that can turn the usual procession of a mystery and how you see it unfold on its head. And that's all I'm going to say. It really took that regular plot of a mystery, flipped it on its head, and then you were like, it's like a mystery within a mystery within a mystery. It just was very cool the way they did that. And I was glued in my chair watching that, just going, I love this. And then, at the end, you're always like, dang it, why didn't I write this? This is brilliant. And so that's another one. Knives Out is a really great murder mystery that takes the tropes and just kind of spins them on its head a little bit. Okay. Where you see things in flashback. And that's it's really cool the way that they reveal things to the audience. And then you're able to kind of, once you see it once and you have all the information, I highly recommend you watch it again, because now you're looking at it a little differently the second time through, and you're like, oh, all right, that's cool. And that makes a lot more sense now. It's just really fun to go through that. So those are my 2. What about you guys?
All right, go for it, V.
So the Night Out, those are really also, so there's a 1 and 2, so there's 2 movies. And what
isn't it called? Is it Glass Onion? Glass?
Yeah, Glass something.
I'll look it up because we want to put these in our show notes. Keep going.
I I'm a little bit spooked first because it's with the detective, it's Daniel Craig. This is the James Bond we're talking about, and he plays this role, this a little bit clumsy, a little bit I don't know. It took a little bit of time to get to adjust to that, but beyond that, oh, it's so brilliant. It's so clever, and very entertaining. So I really like those two books. Two movies. Sorry, books wise, I think my favorite book, mystery book, as an adult, which very different when I was a child. It will have to be The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling.
Oh.
Really, really clever. Very, very nicely crafted. So I really like that book. Then TV series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. I think I like that because she's quite sassy, and that, the outfit and all that, it's just back in this 1920s Art Deco kind of style. So I really quite like that. It just has a, kind of a bit comforting feel to it. So yeah. What about you, Jenna?
Oh, see, I like a little bit older style mysteries. I am a fan of the original Sherlock Holmes. Sometimes the language is a little thick for some readers, especially modern readers, but I started with a lot of those, and I love Sherlock Holmes. I read Encyclopedia Round still with my little girl, because that's just the right age for she's 10 now. And so being able to get her to think kind of outside the box, those have been really, really fun to read with her. I like Murder on the Orient Express. Those were great books. The Death on the Nile, was another one there. So those are great. And then you get into the classic noir detectives, and I have big heart faces for a lot of them. The Thin Man and the Maltese Falcon, those kinds of things. Raymond Chandler with Nero Wolfe and Archie. And Nero Wolfe is interesting because I'm a food person, and so is he. And so is my husband. So my husband was reading Nero Wolfe, and it described a breakfast that they had. And so he had to get all of the ingredients and all of the right tools to make us these shired eggs breakfast. And it was amazing. It was really, really good. So those are just some fun ones. And this murder mystery and mystery in general has been around for so long. And really during the 1940s and 50s, it had this huge heyday with the noir detectives. And I still love that noir feeling, that your femme fatales, all of those things that go with it, those old black and white movies. They make me happy. So we've talked about some fun mysteries that we like, kind of a little bit about what mystery is. And we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but I wanted to talk a little bit about urban legends, because urban legends and legends in general kind of have that mystery twist to them, because it's the question about what is and what isn't, and what do people believe. And I wanted to see what you ladies thought. Are urban legends more historical? Are they their own category? Do myths and legend really belong in their own category? Is mystery part of legend, or is legend part of mystery? How would we play with those? That's something just kind of unique and often left field.
I think we're sub-niching it. That's how we play with it. I think that under the broader scope, it would be probably, it could go either way. When I look at urban legends, I see myths and legends can be fantasy, and I also see them in mystery as well. And so I think it really matters how you play it. Because, like, for example, if I were to look at local urban legends here within Tucson, there are some haunted houses and haunted areas where, it's that idea that certain things go bump in the night, but we're not actually sure if there's a plausible explanation, or if it's that urban legend coming to life. And then how do you put a spin on that? And then where would you place that? Is that, I would think that would be more under the murder thriller, like myths and legends types of things, rather than a fantasy take. I don't think I'd put that under fantasy. But then when you look at myths and legends, when it comes to vampires, that's under more of a paranormal. And so there are paranormal cozy murder mysteries. Like that's an actual sub
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a sub, like you can play with that. So I really think it depends on the type of market you focus on, the way that you tell the story, if you're going to stay true to story, or if you're just doing pure urban legend. I almost think that just a pure urban legend would fit in more along the lines of mystery than anything else. Those are my thoughts though. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I think that I'm definitely not the target audience for that kind of books because I think I'm so rational that even the ghost stuff, it's not my thing. It just doesn't trigger anything within me. If you're going for urban legend from more like almost like a documentary point of view, then I will be interested. If you do like a what's that serial killer in the 18 in the
In
UK?
the US, because there were many.
No, in the UK.
Where's the location?
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper. Sorry, I just had a blank.
Yeah, he's
Like
an urban legend for sure.
yeah, so that but I would more enjoy reading a book from a almost like a documentary slash
Historical perspective.
Yeah. So if we're going,
Here's the question though, that turns into a mystery if you've got the detective that's chasing Jack the Ripper. The actual story of Jack the Ripper and what was going on might be more documentary. But and this is an interesting thing as to how we can bring mystery into stories or take something that might not be a mystery on the surface, but you can make it into one, is that aspect of who's trying to solve the questions surrounding Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Yeah.
And could that urban legend, depending on what type of urban legend it is, actually fit more nicely into horror if you don't do a documentary style thing and you're turning it on its head and moving more into, you just take that urban legend idea and then take it somewhere else. So I really do think you kind of have to sub niche it and see where it fits depending on how you run it and how you play with it. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jana?
Yeah, what do you think, Jenna?
Oh, I'm just having fun talking about it. I don't know that so this is a mystery. We don't actually know the answer here. And that's an interesting part of mystery too, is sometimes they're really solved and tied up with a nice, neat little bow. But you do get whole genres of mystery where only parts of it get solved. You know, they solve the thing that's immediately in front of them, but there's still questions left. And so that's one of those where I think there's still some questions because, like you say, depending on how we rock that story, you could bring a lot of mystery into it. You could bring a lot of horror into it. And you could do it with a lot of these stories because urban legends, a lot of them exist as cautionary tales, things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do because X will happen. But then they start wandering into this level of, well, has X ever happened? Is it real? Could it be real? And that goes back to what we were talking about, towards the beginning, that mystery is about the questions. It's about the things that we ask in order to solve things. So that makes it a whole lot of fun. All right, what else do we want to talk about mystery for just another couple of minutes here? We've talked about mysteries that we love. We've talked about kind of what we think mystery is. So why do you think people like it?
Oh, I think that journey of the discovering the why, I really think that, and I think we're just all inherently nosy.
Which is the amateur detective a lot of the time. It's the person who just cannot not do something about the weird thing they saw. So yeah. I could see that.
You can't leave it alone. You can't leave it alone. I'm watching this series. Well, I finished the first series on Peacock called, and now I've blanked on it, but basically she can tell when someone's lying. And she's kind of just traveling on the run. But in each town she lands in, someone is murdered and she's able to kind of tell that they're lying. And she has to go through this process of figuring out, whether they're lying or not lying and figuring out, all of these different things to solve this murder. But she's tenacious. she just can't let it go. It's that relentless need to know. And if anything, her name's Charlie, and I would totally view that as she encompasses the reason why we love this so much, because it's not necessarily that we want to be a part of sometimes what is a little bit horrible about mysteries, especially if you're looking at the murder aspect of it or the horror aspect of it. But it's like, I just want to know. And sometimes what we envision is happening is far more amazing and wonderful than what the reality is. But even at the end of the day, as we're solving it, we love that process of, how did this happen? Or how did they do this? Or was it as bad or as awful? Or was it really just good? So I think that inherent need to know and to ask questions and to pursue answers and to know the facts, that's why everybody loves that journey. And that's why they take it. And so I also think that's why it's a difficult niche market to get into if you're a writer, because you need to know how to nail that, and take that reader on that journey in the right kind of way. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts as to why people like it. Anything
Nice.
else?
This
Go ahead,
made me, about this TV show with Selena Gomez and Steve Martin. It's
Yes.
Only Murders in the Building.
Mhm.
Really, really clever, because they are not detective or professional or anything, and they're trying to solve a mystery. But then there's also mystery about their own lives that's built in the man mystery. So it's like a mystery on multiple layers. So I think you're absolutely right. I think we're just really nosy. We want to know. We want to get into other people's business and know, I have to say I'm guilty, because I heard a piece of gossip from my neighbors, and I want to know what's happening in this couple, which is none of my business. If for some reason that they hear this podcast, I apologize, but I just want to know what's going on in there. And then so I'm like looking outside of my window, and when I see a truck coming, I'm like, oh, are they moving? What's happening? This is exactly what people do in those books, I have this old little lady come in mind. She's just cooking, and then she hears a car coming, and she's going to poke her head out of the window and see what's happening. And this is exactly what I did last week, because I was like, oh, there's a truck coming. What are they doing? I think it's just, we're just curious. We want to know about other people's business. So maybe that's the attraction for these kind of books.
I would think the other thing is that we like to feel smart. And I love reading a mystery book where I figure out what happened about a page and a half before the book tells me what happened, before the resolution. Because if I can nail it right about then, it means that it wasn't so simple that I knew right from the first page, oh yeah, the butler did it, whatever. But that there were enough complexities to follow that me going, oh yes, I know, so-and-so did it. And then I flip the page and they go, yes, so-and-so did it. And it's like, I want a prize. I am very smart because I figured this out. And I think we like that feeling. It's the same reason we like putting puzzles together, to see that completion. And because it makes you feel very smart to put this puzzle together and have this completed thing. And so I think that's part of why they appeal to me, is I like feeling smart as I move along with whoever's doing the solving, and hopefully I get a step ahead of them so I know that I can figure it out.
Yeah.
So I do love that feeling.
Yeah,
smart.
I do like to think that I'm smart, even if it's just my own judgment, because
Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, we have come to the moment of irrelevancy when it comes to our show. We are feeling very irrelevant today. Actually, that's I don't know if we're feeling relevant today. Anyway, what have I done that was irrelevant today? I'll kick this off because I often go last, and this way I will go first, and then I'll let you guys finish it off for us. We are getting ready for a short vacation where we're going to go down and visit my in-laws. Nobody comes storm my house because there will still be people here, but the husband and the daughter and I, we're headed off, and we have not seen these particular my parent-in-laws in like the last 3 years because of COVID and missions and all these other things. So my little father-in-law is the cutest thing on the face of the planet. And I will fight anybody who wants to say not, because he keeps calling us, trying to have things prepared so that we can just have the best time ever. So he called and he's like, what kind of soda did you drink? I don't remember, but I'll put it in the fridge. I'll have it all stocked. Okay, these are the sodas we're drinking, Grandpa. And then he calls and he goes, cold cereal. What kind of cold cereal will your little girl eat? Because I got to have cold cereal on hand.
Oh,
Okay, here's the cold
yeah.
cereal. I want to make pizzas one night because I bought this outdoor pizza oven. You guys have never seen it, and we're going to set up the pizza oven. And what kind of toppings do you like? Okay, this, that, and the other. What kind of activities does your little girl want to do? We could drive to Las Vegas, which is like a 2.5-hour drive from their house, and we could go see the shark aquarium, or we could go do this hiking thing, or we could go mudding in the Jeep, or we could do, I mean, all of the things, because he just wants us to have the most perfect time. And then he's like, what if it rains? Like, Grandpa, we're okay. We're coming to see you. We don't, everything else is window dressings. We just want to see you and Grandma. But he's just so excited. And I love that so much about him, because he is just such a host that he wants everything to be so, so perfect. And so he is so ready. I mean, we are going to show up, and I'm not sure who's going to be more excited, Grandpa or the dog, because their dog is my dog's cousin. So they've got the same grandsire, and then they're from different things, but they're the same breed. They're about the same size. They play really nicely together. So I'm sure that Hector will come bounding out, and Grandpa will not be too many steps behind them. Grandma is just as excited, but she holds it in just a little bit better. So she will be more zen about the entire thing. But I'm just so excited to go, because we've not seen them. And like I say, every email I get, every call, it's just, and this and that. And it's like, it's okay, Grandpa. We are going to come frequently now that you're home again. It's all good. So it's not irrelevant. It's just really, really cute. And I cannot wait. So, all right, V, how about you? What's irrelevant in your world?
I'm in mourning.
Oh,
What?
no.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I know.
And no one,
So go ahead.
and no one gave me any sympathy. I told that to the entire team, and no one cared. No one even bothered to say, oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry.
I didn't. I actually offered up a laugh emoji.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I may have double clicked on that and then gone with the funny. All right,
Yeah.
tell everybody why it is
So-
that you're sad.
A couple of nights ago, I was just browsing, like mindless browsing social media stuff. And I discovered that the love of my life, Alexander Skarsgård, just had a baby, and not with me. But I would have
sad.
known.
So sad.
The emotional response I had at that time, I think it was stronger than when I gave birth. It was the level of betrayal. I learned that without any, prior notice and warning, I think this is the kind of thing that you lodge an appeal with the human rights.
Right, some kind of formal complaint needs
Right.
Right.
I think this is just so.
I mean, how dare he continue on with his life and I'm assuming this is his wife. Yes, that he's had a child.
Girlfriend.
So girlfriend. So nothing's official, right?
I can still break things off. So I went down a rabbit hole of who is this woman?
Because it's totally your business. Because he's
like
your celebrity crush.
It is a mystery that I need to resolve.
It is. You must know.
It's very relevant to today's episode. So I went down, and then she's nobody. So
Well, there you have it.
So I just have to say I just want a little bit of sympathy, and my team has completely let me down. Anyway, move on, CJ.
I don't have it in me. It's just too funny. And I'm not laughing at your pain, V. Not at all. I'm not. I promise. Never.
Go.
So, Pug Life, episode 20. I'm not really sure how often I've talked about Spike, but this needs to be discussed because we have had nothing but vomit in the family for the last week. It's been the flu bug nonstop. And so you would just assume that the dogs will not be vomiting either, because it's not like the flu is going to transfer to the dogs. But oh no. This morning, bright and early, I've got Spike on me, and he begins to make noises that are a little disconcerting. And I'm like, Spike, what is happening here? And he proceeds to vomit what I believe is Life cereal all over my lap. And I looked at that and I thought, how did you get a bowl of Life cereal? Oh, the kids. Okay. So
It's always the kids.
some kid had left a full bowl of milk with cereal in it, and milk on a dog's digestive system like that, Spike cannot handle. He could not cope. And so it was and then everything came out. And he got nothing on him at all. But it was all on me. And I had, up until that point, avoided getting thrown up on by all of the children, which, I was like, acing it, all tens here as mom of the year, not getting thrown up on. And yet Spike managed to do what no child in the Anaya family had managed to do this week. So I put him in his kennel.
Oh,
That's what has to happen at that point. It's true.
So,
Spike.
I did shower just in case, because last time he made a mess on me, I forgot, and it was just shake all over me as I continued working. But you cannot continue working with vomit all over you. Dog vomit is a deal breaker. So yeah.
Okay.
And there you
Wow.
go. That's
On this note, I was going to go even lower, but I thought, no, I think that we're going to leave at that.
I think I want to, and now it's just, the mystery of whose cereal that was. This is what I'm trying to figure out.
Which child is in
I have not yet solved that mystery because nobody is confessing, but once I do, I will return and report. So
So it's very relevant to today's episode.
Very, yes.
Mysteries everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, on that lovely note, thank you everybody for joining us. We hope that you had a good time. We always have a great time bringing this podcast to you. You can find the show and the show notes at www.elantumdigital.com and follow the podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast distributor. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye now.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.